as we sit patiently.
And I'm am I neck up on this thing or are my hands?
I love that you're asking.
I'm just curious. Or am I?
I don't know what to do with my hands. You are.
I'm a hand person, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're third button up as we discuss.
Okay, cool.
As we discuss where you are. All right, we're done talking about our hands and what part of Dan is on camera. We are here.
Cool.
I'm doing the thing that I don't need to do because I can see on my my app up on the TV that we are here, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's like a tradition at this point. Are we live? And we are because I can see now.
Cool.
See, look at that. This is the production level. I have to check on my phone to make sure we also made it to Facebook. There's a delay because Mark Zuckerberg, this is for Thanksgiving, is a fantastic human being. And he's making things challenging, not complicated, just challenging. Dan O'Halloran from the West Coast in for episode 12. This is NateThology. We are doing this to celebrate that Nate is 50 and the company is 21. Dan is from the mayor of Sunapee. What are we going by?
It's just been there a couple decades.
Just a couple of decades. Yeah. So what we do with these conversations, because not everybody's had the pleasure of meeting you, and not everyone knows you the way Christina does. Nobody has the joy of knowing you that well.
Yeah.
But if you can help everybody better understand you, I'm going to have you do what I do when I meet with agents for the first time. But we're going to break it down differently because we want to hear the origin story, the real estate story, and then the coming to play with us over here at Keller Williams. So get us from high school graduation to real estate.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating to go that far back.
It is fascinating.
So
talk to us. We want to hear about the first date with Christina. We want to hear it all.
Oh, yeah. All right. So I grew up let's get geography right because I always kind of laugh about Keller Williams, our office down here, and where people think I work and my team is and everything.
Yeah.
So there's two major highways in New Hampshire.
Okay.
One is Interstate.
There'll be a quiz later. Hang on. Go ahead.
93, which runs north. Okay, that's north. And then as you get to our capital, which is called Concord, there's another major highway called Interstate 89.
Nailed it.
And you take a left and you go up, and
keep
off
going.
89 is where we are before Hanover, Dartmouth College.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And we're in the Lake Sunapee, Mount Sunapee area.
Yep.
So, not Keene or New Ipswich or Southern New Hampshire.
I say out west. I know. You're like, that's not where we are.
I get referrals sometimes from people, and they're like, "Oh, I hear you're in this area," and I'm like,
Timmy says you're on the West Coast. Yeah. Do you still work in Santa Barbara?
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'll be more exact.
I laugh about it every time. It's great. Okay, so high school. So after high school, I went to Plymouth State College.
Yep. And where was high school? Where did you go?
Lebanon. So
Lebanon,
Upper Valley.
Yep.
Lebanon, Hanover, that area. Went to Plymouth State College.
What was the major?
I was a marketing major with a econ minor.
Okay.
Actually didn't think I was going to go to school in New Hampshire. Like literally.
And you still needed Christina to come help you with the numbers.
Yeah.
I love that.
Of course.
Okay.
Jesus.
Keep going. Sorry.
So I'm a big skier. So I wanted to go to Montana, and I applied to University of Missoula at Montana, flew out there with a buddy of mine, got to go skiing, got to have some beers somehow at a pub, even though we were 12.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was hellbent I was going to go there. My dad did not want me to leave New Hampshire and wanted me to go to Plymouth State.
Mm-hmm.
And he called and interviewed all the business professors and set up a meeting, and we went there, and which it was overly, if you knew my dad, ridiculous, kind of in line with his personality.
Yeah.
And then I was just walking through the campus. I fell in love.
Was he the first helicopter dad? We usually hear the term helicopter mom.
So he was weird. He wasn't really helicopter-y, but he just liked knowing things.
Okay.
So when we had parties, he somehow had the details of oh, I heard you had a doorman at your parties. And I was like, what the hell is happening?
He finds everything out.
He found someone to report out. Yeah. I don't know how the hell he did it, but...
What do you think the impetus of keeping you in New Hampshire was? It he truly affectionately wanted you around, or he didn't trust Montana?
No, we had a good relationship in that regard.
Okay.
So he also was more localized. He didn't like my mom. My parents divorced when they were younger, but my mom was travel, explore. There's no leash. Go see ya. You'll find your way back. Sure. And my dad was like, oh yeah, it's here. You're going to a different country. What? I don't know. Why would you do that?
We have one of those 10 minutes of the road.
Yeah. So I'm just but anyways, it was really cool to end up landing at Plymouth, which eventually met Christina there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of funny story with
what was her major?
She was a marketing and communications minor.
Okay.
And so it was end of junior year. My business professor, like I don't even remember how I got into the room, but there's the American Marketing Association. And so the chapter we had
Sounds fascinating.
right. And the chapter that we had at Plymouth was going under. And so a couple of our professors were like, hey, we're going to do the same.
What? Your marketing division was going under?
Yeah. The marketing association on campus was like, there was like 10 students and no one was in leadership and it was kind of fizzling.
Okay.
And so
was it because of the marketing?
Probably. So they got us all in a room and we're like, hey, someone needs to lead this. And I like raised my hand and said, yeah, screw it, I'll do it. Yep. And I'm not an academic by any means. And Christina raised her hand to be vice president. We didn't know each other at all. And then next thing we knew, we're like joined at the hip all senior year. Okay. My business professor, just to give you an example of my academic prowess, afterwards was like, Dan, are you sure? I was like, Jesus.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So fast forward, we built it to over 50 kids doing hands-on consulting projects. I actually convinced my professors to give me 3 credits at an A just because of our activities and success. So that was cool. It's probably the best thing I did in college, to be honest.
You met your wife,
well,
but keep going.
Yeah.
I'm here to save you, buddy. I'm here to save.
Thanks,
I'm going to write that down. Make sure.
Edit
out
thing.
10 minutes in. Go ahead. Yep.
Second best thing. And then after that, I after college, jumped into life insurance and financial planning.
the weight of your shoulders dropping forward while you said that. Jumped into life insurance.
Yeah, whee! I actually had like a really amazing experience in the beginning.
Okay.
So like the managing partner of the firm, I had interned there and stuff like that. And so I shadowed the managing partner of the firm, lived actually at his house, and got to do all the really cool big business sides of things and also see people and lifestyles at a way different level. Like they had poker night and everyone at that time, and I'm like wet behind the ears just out of college. Sure. And I think the least wealthy person there was making like $300,000 a year. And they're just like, one guy had a Lamborghini, and I'm just like, what is this world? And he's got $50 bottles of wine in the house. Hey, just grab one, whatever you want. And I'm just like, it's a way different life. It was really cool.
So you're doing like Along Came Polly, like risk mitigation conversations?
It was, it was like, I was just born and you're going to die someday. You should probably get life insurance.
Yeah. Yes.
Like it was that, but with like after this is, so initially it was this whole bigger business side and marketing and learning the industry. And then it was, all right, you have to get your license to sell everything. And then you have to start doing all the cold calling and live in a back room and cry every night kind of thing. So that was a little interesting. It was a hard shift. I didn't have the greatest sales manager at the time, so it was a little uncomfortable. And I was working like 24/7, wearing a suit every day, which is not really my jam. And the working part, yes, the suit part, not as much.
Sure.
So I was doing that for a while. My dad eventually called me out and was like, "Hey, you're miserable." And I'm like, "I freaking love what I do. I don't know what you're talking about." And he's like, "Listen, I'm building houses."
And you're just putting up a front at this point.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I was just like, he was like, "Yeah, I'm building houses. I'd rather like pay family than some realtor. You should like get your license." And I was like, I'll think about it, but like, I really like what I'm doing right now. And just kind of almost blew him off, but then did some research. I really like that real estate gave you control of your marketing, your messaging, and your client experience.
Sure. Yeah.
So that kind of started sucking me into the industry. And then it would be cool to actually like new construction was great because I wouldn't be actually on the job site swinging a hammer because I did that on Summer's home and screwed things up all the time because I can't cut a straight line. I can tell you it's not straight, but I lack all those mechanical skills. They're horrible. So
was it measure twice, then slide it crooked, and then cut? Is that,
yeah,
was that the rule?
I literally had a guide and I would still screw up the guide when we were doing siding and decks. So
one of the greatest quotes, and I'll bring it up every time somebody brings up manual labor. No blisters whatsoever. Adam Dow, I have a toolbox, and in that toolbox, I have a checkbook. Right? I mean, like, there's some of us that just shouldn't be doing it. Shouldn't be doing it.
It's not my forte.
Hire the professionals.
It is frustrating though, because I like I'm generally a pretty patient person.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, there's not a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Like if you want me to do demo and stuff, great.
You want me to knock it down? Fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah. Sledgehammer away.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So then I basically he had me join and shadow a small brokerage called the Babson Group, Dave and Sandy Babson. Back in those days, it was Sandy would print out the MLS sheets. This was 2005. And
amazing.
And we checked the binder from Ambiance to the updates, right? That was our MLS at the time. And it was just trying to learn the ropes, which was kind of interesting for sure. I sold nothing. Like I didn't sell a single house in 05. My first time in business. The area I was in was it's small. Like there's only 4,400 people in the town of New London. And it was a hot time in the market, but everyone knew everybody. And I was just wet behind the ears kid. About 6 months into it, they were acquired by Colby Real Estate. And then I was with Colby Real Estate for over 10 years. And so then essentially I end up getting into real estate. That's the impetus of how I got into real estate essentially was getting out of the financial industry, which I wasn't finding enjoyment. And then starting to build what I could, but I didn't have a lot of training at all. So I had to do a lot of like self-teaching, researching online, everything. I had the first e-fax number that ever hit like our area. So everyone was like,
the first North,
fax?
Central, Western e-fax number.
Yeah, it was
for being
fancy.
accurate. Okay.
efax.com.
Remember that?
Of course.
I still,
it was 120
if you go in
year.
White Pages right now, like, and you go like, and you find, you know, Timothy C. Lindsay and all this stuff, like we all still have fax numbers attached to us for e-faxing, which is fascinating.
It's pretty wild.
Yes.
So then I ended up trying to figure it all out. When they got acquired by Colby Real Estate, I wasn't even allowed leads or anything like that. And at the time I was doing real estate in reverse. We were driving from Hooksett all the way up to, or I was driving all the way up. Christina was going south to like the Nashua area for work. And
what is she doing at this point?
She was in that beginning part. She was in like I think it was in Wakefield, Mass. It was like a tech recruiting company.
Okay.
She was there for a while.
That's a bit of a...
And then she moved to tech, storage, marketing, CMS, stuff like that. Okay. So, and then had a couple other pops.
The Wakefield, Mass commute, though.
This is awful.
From where you guys are?
It would take her forever.
Sure.
Oh, God. So, and then, so I get at Colby, they're I basically just was there, and like they had, a major office. And then like when they acquired the Babsons and they stuffed us in this like ancillary building that was next door. And then
you were like Milton from the office.
It was just like me by myself, and I would drive 40 minutes up and be there by myself, and I wasn't allowed leads or anything. So fortunately everyone was busy. So if no one showed up, I'd get a lead that would come through.
Sure.
And I'd be able to try to have a conversation with someone about buying real estate. But it took me, it was not like overnight success. It was just like hammer, try to get in touch with somebody, try to build relationships. And because of my experience in the financial industry, I was very uncomfortable with the cold calling thing, because it was just, I equated it with just misery, right? So I was like, how do I figure this out? So I did a lot of like marketing partnerships with like lenders online, and I did a bunch of mailers, and then I was promoting this like the houses my dad was trying to build and stuff. So that was all pretty interesting. And then 2007 bought a house. I can't believe they gave us a loan. It was right before everything crashed.
Yeah,
so that was super exciting. And then unfortunately my dad died that same year. And it was, I had all the first time home buyer things, like my dad died, my mom's boyfriend of 20 years left. I had water pouring out of my roof in the wintertime, and I'm like with a hatchet on my roof dealing with an ice dam for the first time. It was tough go. We never lost the house. We paid our bills. We eventually sold the damn house. Thank God I don't own that anymore. And so we go through all this, and it was really good education of trying to generate business, being at a low, perseverance, and pushing through. I mean, I literally had Christina at one point be like, you got to get a temp job. And that year I made 80 grand. And I was like, I'm not doing a freaking temp job.
Right.
So, but it was tough, but I definitely went all in. And it was not easy for sure. To kind of, to just make a good income in this business for a long time.
What was the thing that finally clicked for you, where you fell into a groove and it became like fast twitch muscle developed, and like, and probably still the sharpest arrow in your quiver right now is like, if I do this, I know I will generate more business. Like, what was it for you?
I just have to be around humans. That's
Yep.
pure and simple. So I ended
And
up.
you mean that like in a general, like being in the room, networking kind of thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
being out like so like I didn't know anybody, right? So for me, I started getting involved locally. I got involved with the Chamber of Commerce. I eventually became president of the Chamber of Commerce. I got involved with their board of realtors.
Which is so funny because you
Like,
said earlier, like, don't love being in a suit.
yeah.
But if people pay attention to social media, you're always in a suit and tie because you are always the president of something. You've done a lot. You've done a lot in leadership within real estate, which is really cool.
Well, it was one of those things of like getting comfortable, and it's good to be uncomfortable and push yourself a bit.
Yeah.
So put yourself in different.
If you're in
like,
the front of the room, you have to talk.
Well, and like, how do you increase your education, right? And there's like, you can read books or whatever, but then how do you put yourself in scenarios that are like outside of your daily job, helping people buy and sell houses?
Yeah.
Because the more you round out your professionalism, your knowledge and competence in different scenarios, all it's going to do is enhance the communication that you have with other people and make connections tighter and more just deeper connections, because you can be more relatable because of all the experience that you've had, right? And so that's how I approached like leadership in the chamber, leadership in the board of realtors and stuff like that. Was, well, this is different than trying to sell a house, but let's pressure test like skills that I have and what else I can learn and different people I can meet and grow my network. And then that kind of just did a nice compounding effect for the most part.
So you were with Colby for 10 years, you said.
10 years.
What was the stick there? What was enjoyable about that? Were they a good firm, or were you just a good agent, combination of the two?
They were a good firm. It was like a little family. Everyone took care of each other and everything, right? So it was really tight-knit. They went through a lot of transitions, like obviously through the downturn, right? There was 4 offices and then they started jumping down. I ended up, I became really good friends with the owner of it. He eventually closed the doors in 2016, which was a hard day. And then that started the change for myself of, damn, okay, I didn't really love the other options in town, but I was trying to figure out, where do I go? I ended up going to Sotheby's for the first year. So in 16, I joined them. So it was end of 15 that Colby closed. And then 16, I was at Sotheby's to kind of experience that, right? And it was interesting. It got me really like before it was compliance and stuff like that in the office was super low key. And then this was like big brokerage. You have all these, all this friction to get through your daily stuff. Right. So that was interesting. I went to an Inman conference. It was one of the perks of the recruitment they did. That was super eye opening and a really amazing experience.
Was that your first time like leaving town for the industry to go see other people in the industry doing?
Exactly. It was like, so small town, not a lot of people doing creative, cool things. They're like nice people that work, but there wasn't anyone like pushing the barriers.
To your knowledge, they were doing the coolest thing in town. Yes.
So, and conversations were very just level, not up here. Right. So, I do the Sotheby's thing for a while. And at the end of my first year, approaching the end of my first year, most of my sales were all generated from my network, my business, everything that I had cultivated. And I was like, okay, well, I just paid them a ton of money. I got some signs when I first joined, and I got one sale out of it. And that was it. And then I started having and then I had a bunch of other companies starting to recruit me towards the end of the year. Was that not happening? I was going to ask you, was that not happening when Colby closed? Some of it, but not a ton.
Okay.
It was a weird time for sure.
Because you made it sound like your choice to go to Sotheby's was almost default. Which shocked me because I figured you would have had.
There was another firm that had a rub with Colby Real Estate that I didn't feel right going in that direction.
Yeah, I get that.
Because of how it would have reflected on the past owner. So I couldn't go there.
Broker loyalty. I've never heard of it. Yeah. Crazy.
Right.
Crazy.
So then I'm Sotheby's and I did the culture wasn't quite what I was looking for. Christina and I were talking about maybe we open our own brokerage. We always wanted to get back to working together.
ChristinaandDan.com. It rolls right off the tongue.
Exactly. Yep. She was running PR and marketing for the hospital in town, New London Hospital. So, and actually the quick side fun story is I was trying to convince her ever since I
love a good fun hospital story.
Right? Well, this is not quite hospital, but this is getting away from the driving, which was driving me insane.
Oh yeah.
And so basically I was showing houses one day, came home, and she's like, "Oh, I'd move there for that house." And I was like, "Really? Okay." This is in 2013. And towards the end of the year, I'm like, "Well, let me, like, you really would?" She's like, "Yeah, whatever, Dan, sure." So I talked to the other realtor. I talked to a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, we're going to go see this house." So we went up and saw it, ended up throwing an offer in and pulled it off. At the end of, put it under contract in December 2013, and then moved in February 2014, and got the house that she said she would have moved for is now our house, which I absolutely love.
That's awesome.
It's 3 miles from our office on Main Street, so kind of great.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was kind of a fun thing. And then she got the job up in the area shortly after that. So yeah, where was I going?
We're at Sotheby's at this point.
Oh yeah. So then
getting recruited.
Yeah, so I was in a bunch of different volunteer things for the New Hampshire Association of Realtors. I don't think I put my hat in for president quite yet, but I was close. And I ran into Nate on a few different events and things, and we were at God, I can't remember why I was in those at the conferences. So it was like I was at an NAR conference, and then we were talking about stuff, and got plenty of food and drink to catch up and everything. And then it was really laying it in on me that I should make the change. And then we sat down with Nate and Adam Dow. Jesus, we made them deal with us for like 3 hours of questions. And they just sat there, not checking their phones, is letting Christine and I pepper them.
Probably one of the most skeptical people to ever talk. I mean, if you heard Troy's story and his story, like Troy was never going to let him buy lunch. And then Nate finally said, if we go for another meeting, you're buying lunch. And Troy's like, I didn't want to keep paying for lunch. So I paid for one, and then I joined.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Adam wildly skeptical. He says when he went to FSO in Texas, it was like, if I sign. And then it was like, when I sign. So
pretty wild. And like the freedom of information and the camaraderie of all of it. And then what I really fell in love with was the aspects of what I really enjoyed about Colby Real Estate and that I was missing when I was at Sotheby's was honestly the tightness of the group and taking care of people. If you go on vacation, it's not like you go on vacation and someone's like, "Oh, you owe me $100 for showing that house," or I get a percentage or whatever. So we wanted to like the idea of trying to build something like that. And then with Keller, it was really amazing that the empowerment and autonomy that you can have to build this amazing thing within your fold, but then leverage this incredible vehicle of Keller Williams and your local franchise was pretty fascinating. So we said yes, right? So that was January of 2017 that we made the formal transition because I was waiting for a closing to happen. And I was worried that they're going to take 50% of it.
Of course they were. Yep.
So, but then we joined, and I got so pissed off in the beginning because the words, the technology, the conversations, all this stuff. I was like, well, son of a bitch, this has been here this whole time.
Yeah.
And no one's talked about it. I was so angry at myself for losing 5-10 years of accelerating growth and just bigger conversations that suddenly all of a sudden 2017 happened and all this stuff just happens rapid fire. I go to FSO and I do all this stuff and I'm just like, what in the hell is this world?
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind. And then no one else in our area had a clue about any of these things. And no one in my circles were talking about any of this investment properties, let alone cost segregation studies, anything like that. And then the scale systems, team models, all of that. I remember, this will be a good throwback to Zoller, because I remember meeting him and having a beer at some leadership symposium thing that the New Hampshire Association of Realtors was doing. He's like, yeah, I don't really show houses. I'm like, what kind of Greek are you talking, dude? How's
these are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. And I should have leaned in. I was so close-minded to all of it. It was really fascinating. And that was before I met Nate or anything there. Yeah. So yeah.
You said what I always love to hear people say. You said the same thing that most people say. If I ever ask someone who's been elsewhere and then they get here, I'm like, any regrets? And it's always like, I wish I had moved sooner.
Yeah.
All of that aside, what was the thing that you were most excited about finding out? Because there was some stuff, you asked a myriad of questions in your meeting. You said that. But then there's always a period of discovery because people don't show up because they liked and checked every box on Gary's buffet. Yeah. Something got you here. But what was the thing that you found out when you got here and you're like, no way?
So I think a lot of it was the network and the sharing of information and how people built and scaled and did certain things. So that was like one of the major components that felt like family again. It was like, oh, hey, here's what I did. Let me show you. And like, here's a copy of my books and whatever. Here's how I did a team member agreement. Here's this. And like Adam was a huge supporting resource for us for sure. The other side of it was the whole, we are an hour and 15 minutes northwest-ish.
Geographically challenged. I apologize. Yes.
From Portsmouth. And so it's an hour and 15 minutes on a good day from here. So like, how is that going to work? Right.
Yeah.
And so that whole ability to open a mega agent office by qualifying by a certain level of production and stuff like that was amazing. And like, so we did that. I think Nate set a goal. I had to like hit a certain, I was already at an okay production. I was like a $7 million producer. And then that first year I hired an admin partway through that used to work at the Sotheby's office across the street in the insurance division. And
was that Taylor?
Taylor, yeah. And so she came to my house. We didn't have an office. So kitchen table.
You're on the breakfast bar. Yeah.
Kitchen table, we'd hang out. And we sold 51 houses that year. Over 14 million in sales. And granted, this is not when the average sales price in New Hampshire was 500,000.
Sure.
So we were hammering.
Yeah.
And then started looking at bringing other people on and stuff like that. And then was able to then go to franchise systems orientation. I went to, I went to family reunion, but missed most of it because of a snowstorm. Then I went to Mega Relief, which was honestly like the most eye-opening thing. We went down to Texas
August of 2017.
Yeah, we're mucking out houses and all that.
Yep.
That was wild. And we stopped and got beers and masterminded on the bus ride back with the group that we were working with all day. And like,
I've never been more proud of our company.
The culture,
because we had Mega Camp all ready to go.
Yeah.
And then Gary knew that they needed it to be ground zero for supplies and everything. And they changed it, and people that weren't going to go went. Yeah. And then people that couldn't go just like donated. It was amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah. And everything was so as organized as it could be. The people that were randomly showing up, this one guy just showed up and he was just like going around making jambalaya and feeding people on the side of the road. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
Really great relationships and a lot of fun people that I met during that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's the thing that you first got rid of or let go? Because you talked about your conversation with Zola. You're like, what do you mean you're not showing houses? Like, so you get up and running. You got to get to that 10 million mark. You got to that 14 million mark. Yeah. It's you and Taylor at the time. What was the first hire after that? So when did you start to add salespeople, and what's the first thing that you gave away?
Okay, so I did some salespeople, had them join. One person in, God, did she join in 17? Because Josh joined in 18. So I had one person join in 17 who was way not a cultural fit at all. And fortunately, we had an exit, which was wonderful. And then we really were like trying to figure out, like, we need the right person. Christina, there's this guy who was a loan officer. And Christine's like, he does all these things and is involved and is out and is going to see, like, keep seeing his face. You should go take him out for a beer. And I was like, I don't know. Like, are you sure? And she's like, take him for a beer. So that was Josh's thought. Yeah. And he joined us in 2018. And he was crazy because he has 3 kids and a farm. And we were like, hey, like, save up like 6 months. This was like end of 17 when we had the meeting with him. Save up 6 months of income and then take the plunge, take the test, and we can hit the ground running, like launch around April or something like that would be perfect. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, all right, I passed the test, did this. I just put my resignation in. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I got stuff. Let's go. And I'm like, okay, Josh, sure. And we end up, for some reason, when you have to do like your fingerprint, like background check, there was some delay. So the majority of April, he couldn't legally sell or do anything. And the poor guy was freaking out. Right. And so part of this change, and this is like, what did you give up? It was that realization that if I want him to survive and stay in the business, I had to generate business heavily for him to stay. Yep. And he had an amazing year with us. I can't remember the dollar volume, but I think it was somewhere close to 7 million or something like that. Like in his first year, 5 to 7 years. Yeah, yeah. So, and then his sales just continued to explode. He got Rookie of the Year for KW Coastal Lakes and Mountains. and just crushed it. It was really awesome. So this is the start of that transition of I don't have to wear every hat, but if I train somebody and he was like attached to my side on everything, like he's as cloned of me as you can get. And we literally like that was a part of, hey, I can't hold on to everything. And then learning how to have this conversation where someone's like, they want to work with me really close and tight. And I'm like, listen, that's wonderful. We're going to work together. However, I work as a team and your primary point of contact is going to be Josh, and he's going to show you houses. I'm still here and get pulled in when necessary, but you're not going to have me all the time.
How tough was that for you to say, and how well was that received when you did at first?
It was incredibly hard, incredibly hard. You start giving up a piece, like the buying process is fun. People are excited and everything like that. The listing side, everyone's dramatic. And people are touching their stuff, so like it's not as awesome for sellers, and they got to move all those fun pressures. So it was hard at first. I didn't deliver it smoothly and fumbled the ball a lot, but generally speaking, we got through. Or I'd be riding a tighter shotgun than I really wanted to ride, because then that would pull me away from trying to figure out how else to grow the business. And then I got better and better and better, and then I think last year I had 2 buyer sales. This year I'll have 2 buyer sales, like out of everything else. So it's one of those things where I'm now really far removed from that. I do hop in, like sometimes I run a tight shotgun with the agent on our team, and sometimes I don't.
So for you, when it's a huge challenge for every team lead. And I remember, and I talk about this conversation all the time because I'm afraid of her, and she's lovely. So there's no need to be afraid, but I am. So I remember Prue saying to me, yeah, Timmy, but like my clients only want to work with me. And I was like, say this carefully, say this appropriately. I'm like, listen, Pruniverse, that's her nickname, right? I'm like, Pruniverse, like that's not the case. They want to work with your standard, right? So the difficulty is finding the people, and you had that obviously non-cultural fit that you parted ways with, but people that are going to carry your standard in your absence, right? You know, so like leadership exists when you leave the room. So how did you know that you could trust Josh because he gave his resignation before you told him to? Or what was it about him that you had Christina on your shoulder saying, there's a good dude. And then you brought him into the fold. You must have been feeling good, but at some point it clicks and you're like, okay, this is going to be a foundational piece of what we're doing.
So it was a component of his like being in the community and showing good hard work and effort, and putting the time in, just trying to do the loan officer stuff. And then it was in conversation with him and client care and his ability to try to focus on that. There's also pressure of, so we had that amazing year in 17, which allowed Christina to leave her job in January of 18. So then we were like, all right, no health insurance, no benefits, like all that. And needing to scale and grow the business, right? And having that leverage of time. So, but Josh definitely had a lot of the characteristics of trust, honesty, involvement in the community, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
You talked about April when he couldn't sell because New Hampshire was looking for his fingerprints. And you said something that I think is really important for people to hear, and I'm sure you still feel it, and I know a lot of team leads do. You're like, so I had to be doing enough to make sure there was enough. And I think we get away from that as if you're a rainmaker or a team lead, and you start loading up with bodies. And there are teams all over the country and all over our market center that do this occasionally. And admittedly, they'll do it and maybe burn themselves to the ground on purpose and restart. My analogy, always food, of course. Like if you got a restaurant and you got 38 servers standing by the hostess table and there's no meat hanging in the freezer, what are we doing? So how, like, obviously, and you've grown the team, and we'll talk about who's with you now. When your feet hit the floor in the morning, what is your concern as a business owner immediately for you and Christina, but more so for the souls on board that have said, I'm part of O'Halloran Group. I trust this guy, right?
So for us, like the biggest thing is like everyone goes through that does their GPS with us, and we have them do a personal and a business. And we want to really focus on like, what are your goals? Where do you want to hit? And our responsibility is to help them achieve those goals. It does not feel good if they're not hitting those goals. And so our job is to push and hold them accountable, and you have the training and resources so they have total confidence to go out there and do that. And then the other side of it is an amazing industry. Like the different people that you get to meet and the interactions and impact you have on someone's life is absolutely amazing. And so to make sure that people in our lives have the curiosity and the care to really lean in and help our clients make good decisions around real estate, like that's our core, is the decision making part. I don't care if you buy or sell anything. Like I want to make sure that we're doing it for the right reasons and you have the very best information to make that decision with strong confidence. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing? It doesn't make sense. Some people really should not buy a house and should not sell a house. But if you don't ask enough questions, you don't know what's going on and what the motivation is. And if you don't know the motivation is, how can you really truly advise them on what level of risk they should or should not take in to like their life on this real estate decision, whether you're buying or selling? Like it is a huge decision that comes with serious ramifications of what you decide to do in that moment. And you need to be in alignment with what your true goals are as a buyer or a seller to have total success in that transition. And so if we're not asking those questions, we're not ferreting out the motivation, then what are we doing? We just are just taking orders. And like, if you look at the changes in our market, agents like right now in this industry, like stop being order takers. You're a consultant. You're helping people make decisions around real estate investment. And you need to advise on them on whether it's good or bad to make that move and not just try to get a quick sale and do a surface level. Do you want fries with that? Like, come on.
Such a great point. During COVID, we were doing contracts on cocktail napkins and 3M notes, waiving inspections, waiving appraisals. And we've gotten to the point where you can't just stand at the counter and ring up people's Suzy Q's and their Monster Energy drinks. You have to come from behind the counter and ask questions about what they're doing.
And learn about them. Yeah. Like some people aren't going to let you in, which is fine. You get some people that are really closed off. That's always a challenge to warm them up and see if you can get them to
they'll also
convert.
tell you they're very happy with the experience being transactional.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. They'll chat GPT most of the experience. It's fine.
Talk to my phone.
Yeah.
Yep. Talk to my phone. So, you joked about the fact that you're not an academic yet. You know, you've been so involved, not joking about the suit and tie, you've been so involved with leadership throughout the state and a student of the industry as well. What do you do with your team to make sure that they are at least exposed to the opportunity to learn? Yeah. Because again, you know, in your absence, they carry your standards. So how are you making sure that, you know, they're not just having that conversation? Because this happens all the time. Like, hey, how's real estate? And like, great. And we don't square our feet and say, you know.
No, the worst is when they say, it's so busy.
The B word, baby. The B word will light your business on fire. Yes. Yeah, I would have called you, Dan, but you said you were busy.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, don't use the B word. So what do you do as a team on a weekly basis or a monthly basis that's a resource that you use with them to make sure everybody's lifting their lid?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot. So on the broader scale of it, every 2 weeks we have team meetings. Every single Thursday morning we do conversation practice and we role play, script out, talk over different scenarios. Sometimes we separate into separate groups and everyone interrogates each other. And then other times we'll do a round table and we'll all kind of kick through different hard topics and stuff like that. We started that 2 years ago, I think. And so when we got to the whole changes in and how contracts are and the NAR lawsuit and stuff like that, our team was like, it was no problem. They're having conversations. They're getting paid from buyers at closing tables. There's no sweating trying to figure out how to have the conversation because we've had them a million times and had practice and train. And so it brought them confidence so then they could do a better job with the people they're interacting with. So we do that. And then we also do one-on-one. So I have a one-on-one every other Tuesday with all the agents. And then Christina has a database one-on-one with them every other Tuesday. So we alternate in that regard.
I feel like they probably like the meeting with you better than the meeting with her. Not that they don't like Christina, but there's only she's staring at metrics or not.
It is. I mean, we use Follow Boss for our CRM and we look at, she has everything detailed out in Smart List, so you know exactly what you need to do and how you need to clear your Smart List each week and all the accountability. Yeah.
Spoiler alert too. Your team lead can also see the last time you logged in.
Yes.
No, I've definitely been making my calls. I was just in there yesterday. Last time logged in, October 15th, 1922.
I made 5 calls and there's one.
I made 5 calls. Yeah, there's only one contact in there. Yeah, what do you... To get started, what do you have for a minimum? Like, are you asking them to show up? Like when Josh started, it may have been different, but now if Tim Lindsay's jumping into the Halloran group and you're saying, hey, I need you to do X on your first day.
So we struggle with this. So we are not a model to follow.
Everyone's a model to follow.
Like, so
Everyone's a model to
we
follow.
literally right now have not been good on the phone consistency on prospecting each day and stuff like that. So we have a very kid gloves one right now. It's 5 calls a day, which
better than zero, brother. Better than zero.
So we started a group text with just the agents and myself, and we just started this, but I actually really love it because I think this is the 1% that's going to help us move forward, and it's doing something that we've never held them accountable to doing X calls per day, right? So now we're trying like, hey, I really like you to do 5 calls a day. If you can do it, great. If you can't do it, don't let it demotivate you. We just want this accountability. We're all going to do hard things together. Stole that from Dow.
Love it.
And we're going to throw up on our group text 1, 2, 5, 10, whatever the number is.
0.
And if it's 0, great. I don't care. Just as long as every single day we're saying we did something, we took action in some way forward versus going backwards.
Yeah.
And if that forward is acknowledging that you did 0 calls, fine. That's great. Tomorrow's a new day and we'll figure out someone that you can talk to. Like
Yeah. Well, the conversation I have on the midday protocol is it's conversations, right? The lead indicators are conversations, appointments, contracts. And it's so true because I hear it more and more and more. I don't want to be on the phone. Nobody's picking up the phone. And if Nate were here, he would say it, and I will agree with him. It doesn't need to be the phone.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to have conversations is the important thing. And my big thing with coaching right now is the W word is like, what are you willing to do? Because outside of the realms of that, like, then what are we having a conversation about? Yeah. Because there's a whole thing we cover in business planning clinic. It's the 10 things that you'll probably say you're going to do in 2026. Yep. It's going to boil down to the core 4. And maybe what 3. Would you say? What would you say for you? What did you just say?
Maybe 3.
Maybe honestly though. But so what are your 3? Yeah. What are Dan O'Halloran's 3?
Oh geez, for next year.
In general,
yeah.
You've got 3 sharp arrows in your quiver. What are they that you do?
Oh, for my daily habits. So that is honestly like it's hard. Like for me, the biggest thing is the agents and supporting them. So I spend a lot of time thinking about how to improve like their sales, what they're doing. Honestly, like when you've been doing this for as long as I have, like 20 years, that mental fitness of remembering names for some and people's scenarios is weird. And so I can remind them of people in their database that I've set them up with and be like, hey, you should call this person today or this. And so sometimes on that catalyst of like, pick up the phone, you need to tell them this property came on. And I know exactly what's on our market 99% of the time.
Sure.
Sometimes before our agents, because I'm a little obsessive about it. But you need to know what's happening in your market. And then when I see certain things, then I'll give nudges and stuff like that. So that's one thing I do to help accelerate our team and getting them kind of paying aware stuff. And then other than that, I'm looking at who else I need to call, who else can I bring into my life, and then what other kind of training and information can I put into my head to be better at what I do.
Yep.
I have not been a good call person, so I'm also I'm doing the call thing with them. And I'm failing with them.
Yep.
And I've had days where I haven't hit the call number and other days that I have and so on. So we're all kind of doing that together.
But admittedly, you said when we first started talking that like you're a be in the room networking person.
Yeah.
So what is the schedule for you? When do you know every week that you're going to be bumping toes with other people?
So I got far removed from that. And so it's kind of interesting. Like last year we had an amazing year. We had like 128 closings as a team. This year we're going to be like inches from 100. It's driving me out of my mind, but we did not set up.
But you're angry about it. I love that.
Yeah. It pisses me
motivation,
off
baby.
Like
Motivation.
no end. And and we should be doing anyways. So there's numbers we need to be hitting and that we're not hitting. And some of the lack of sales was a shift in how, I was approaching business for myself and getting really like vested in the training and sales and the sales management end of it of our team. And I stopped prospecting, putting myself out there and being more visible. Right. And then, so I've been trying to like the token, like go out to dinner and stuff like that. It actually works. The amount of times I've gotten business from there.
Yep.
And then going to different networkings. I haven't gone to like chamber stuff in a while and I really should. Cause I know everyone when I go to those things.
Yeah.
Even just going out like, in Sunapee Harbor, for example, there's a new brewery that opened. And I went like 3 times. I swear to God, every time I went, I never talked to the people I went there with because I ran into past clients and people all over. And it was like 2 hours later, I'm like, what the hell just happened? That was some of the best networking ever.
Yep.
And it was just, and it wasn't bad because I'm running into past clients and people I know and that I haven't connected with in a while and having really good conversations and relationships there. So,
well, and I think people tend to forget, and because when you join a team and you'll have these initial conversations, well, there shouldn't be anything that my team lead's asking me to do that they wouldn't be willing to do or they're incapable of doing. I would agree with that. But if we're going to use the sports analogy, like you going from player to player, coach to owner, at some point, it has to be okay for the players on your team to understand that you're up in the glass case. You're doing everything to make the environment good for them to play and win. Yeah. You know, because at some point, you and Christina, and we got to talk about some of the travel because you've taken some great trips. Like if you can't, and I remember this, Jay Papasan was talking about a trip that he took with Wendy when she first really stepped away from the business, and they were gone, I want to say gone for a month. Wow. And there were no fires while she was gone. Now that can bruise somebody's ego, but that's also leverage, right? And I've said it 1 trillion times. So this is 1,000,000,001. If it breaks while you're on vacation, when it's never working to begin with. Right. So for you to take the time right now in your career to step back and be like, do I have the right players on the field? So I can just manage and work on the business rather than in it it's ultimately going to be better for them anyway. Yeah. I mean, as soon as the owner steps away and stops dropping the biggest crumbs on the table, I wouldn't be pissed to be on that team.
No, and honestly, like I swear, when we go on vacation, Brandy's like, "Oh, thank God, Dan's out." And
yes, yeah,
everything goes.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, some of the bit like and that's been a realization for Nate. Obviously, God bless Kaylee. Her birthday tomorrow, by the way. So before you escape, go say hi to Kaylee. She's 27 again. So yeah, I mean, obviously he's safe there and he's got JV. Like, I think it took a while for him to realize that he could leave and the house wasn't going to burn down. We were relatively responsible. But that took him a long time. And everybody's guilty of this. Like a lot of that was obviously ego, but he also knows that he surrounded himself with the right people that he can take off and go do that, you know?
But you have to show them the trust, right?
1,000%.
And then you show them the trust and maybe something doesn't go right. And they bring that to your attention and you're like, great, we found this part of our business that wasn't working. So we can fix it next time. It's no problem.
Yep.
So as long as you know, I think that the scariest part as a leader is not knowing and wanting to know exactly what's happening and making sure it's all being executed beautifully and perfect. Yeah. And the client or customer experience is not dropping or dipping, right? And so it's trying to understand that and then letting go of that control and giving someone the power to do it. Yeah. And not everyone's going to do it the same exact way as you, but that's not bad. And this is the hardest thing to learn is like, it doesn't have to be 100% the way I would do it, but it should be like 70 to 80% similar. Well,
and be willing to understand that you're in your best position if you can park your ego and hire someone better than you. Yeah. Like that should be the goal. Like I want to find somebody who's going to grab this thing so I can go sit in a thatch hut and drink Mai Tais and be gone. And if they do it better than me, okay. Yeah. Because at some point the clientele's not even going to know. You're just going to be the colonel. Oh, they're not going to know you ever made the chicken.
It's weird now, like because we're on Main Street with our office. Like people call the office. They don't ask for me anymore. I'm just like. So the brand recognition part is getting really cool. Yep. But it's just weird. It's like, or like I went on a.
Well, anybody who doesn't know you, like if I saw the O'Halloran group, like I'm Irish. I just, I'm waiting for a gray hair guy to walk out. Like you walk out, I'm like, what is this kid doing? Right? Yeah. Where's your dad? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Is your father here?
But yeah, no one, like it's the majority of stuff now, like every once in a while people will ask for me, but a lot of the times they don't, which I'm like, whoa. And we get tons of phone calls now and all sorts of things. It's just kind of wild to see that change. Yep. I went on a listing appointment with one of our agents and like the seller's like, why are you here? I'm like, because I like this stuff. And yeah. Sure. So it was just kind of funny to have someone be like that direct of like, why are you here? I'm like, we're on the team together. Like I'm along for the ride. Yep. All right. Party on.
Just latching on. My wife runs the whole thing. Yeah. You work in a market much like our friends over in the other lake up in Chickenboro. What are the challenges of working in a market that does have a lot of second home purchases? Not to mention, it can always be a challenge for a team too, where you might get branded, and it sounds like why would that be an awful thing? But it can be. Yeah. You might get branded as, oh, don't call Dan. Dan and his team only sell things with 2 decimal points. Yeah. Right? Did you have to overcome that at some point?
Every once in a while it does happen. I think the beauty of our area is arguably we're the best location in New Hampshire, and I don't think anyone else can compete with this. We're a year-round vacation destination in between 2 major employment sectors, and we have a ski area and all these lakes. So honestly, a little bit of everything that you want to do in life is really good. And we have a hospital and a college in town. So we get a heavy population of retirees. We get the wanting to retire second homeowners that buy their eventual retirement home. We have the rental side of it. And then you have a lot of the buyers that are traveling either north to the Upper Valley or south to Concord, Manchester, or work at one of the local businesses in town.
Yep.
So it makes a really interesting dynamic. We do get people here and there like that will wonder like, oh, I only thought you did high-end houses and stuff like that. And we handle everything. I mean, we just listed a 1-bedroom house for $250,000 yesterday, right? And we had a mobile home that we listed last week, like, okay, it happens. And then we have stuff that will sell for over 7 million. Like we've got a little bit of everything. So I think it's hard when you get kind of pigeoned into one category. We've blended it really well, I think, with the volume of sales that we've been able to do.
Yeah.
And the amount of people we've been around that when you go to our site, I mean, I love our website. Christina's done an incredible job building the resource that we have there. And it does give a nice elevated professional appearance, but it isn't saying like your house isn't worth us kind of thing. Which there was a level like at Sotheby's where on some of the marketing they were doing that if you were below a certain price point, you weren't included. And it never sat well with me. It was like, oh, they're not good enough.
Yeah.
We can't. And I'm like, no, they're humans. They have a house. Doesn't matter that it's not a super high price.
So you do take walk-ins. It's not like New York City where you walk down the street and you see Hermes and you go to open the door and it says by appointment only.
And I'll show a toilet in a photo, but I'll make sure the seat's down.
Yep. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Talk about the charitable stuff that you've done with the team. I know you're really proud of that.
Yeah. So we've all been on different boards and different volunteer activities. And sometimes those can be really wonderful. And sometimes they're so big and there's so many opinions that you just can't get the traction fast enough that you need. So my good friend, Adam Dow, started this thing called a 1K. And Christina and I were kicking around this idea of like, what if we just took ownership of our own charitable thing and didn't, just had control, we could move faster. So I called Adam, like, dude, I love your 1K.
And I'm way out here on the West Coast, according to Timmy, so I'm going to steal it.
You're on the Speed and Sparkle part of New Hampshire. Like, I'm in just laid back, kind of chill area. Are you okay if we kind of tap into this 1K thing and try to do it ourselves too? He's like, oh yeah, go for it. So I went online and ultra1k.com was available, which was a fun way to one-up Adam.
It's not a 1K, it's the Ultra 1K.
Ultra 1K, 3,280 feet of powerful walking, jogging, and shuffling. And so we created the website. Christina made this brilliant website, and we had a lot of fun putting all the pieces together. In our first year,
19 was the first year, right?
20.
Oh, was it 20?
It was 20. And we were supposed to have an in-person thing, and then COVID happened, and we're like, oh crap, what do we do? So we pivoted to a virtual event.
Yeah, and then just report what you did.
Yeah, so you record whether Strava, Map My Run, whatever your tracking device of fun is, and then either send us your route or we created a Facebook group for it and post your routes, and then we would have prizes for the fastest, the slowest 1K, the most 1Ks. We also now have created different routes in our area, so to help people explore what's amazing in our region.
That's
so we have 6 routes. If you do all 6 routes, you end up getting entered to win $250 to one of the really nice restaurants in town. And we just had a blast with it. So the first year was $8,000. And then the past few years, we've raised over $20,000 each year. Our grand total is over $112,000 raised since 2020. Amazing. So, and it gives back to our 3 local food pantries. And so for those of you geographically for our area, it's small. So our primary service area is the Sunapee region, which is 16 towns. And then our 3 food pantries in the area, the Newport Food Pantry, Warner Food Pantry, and the Kearsarge, like Sunapee Community Food Pantry, service 24 towns. So we figured the best way to support our region was to support those 3 pantries. So we disperse the funds to those 3 pantries each year.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys travel a lot, but you did find something local so you can be away but still close enough to race back in case Josh burns the building down, which he hasn't done because he's fantastic.
Semi close enough.
Yeah. So where did you grab your property?
So we went up to the down east part of Maine.
So confusing. Yes. If you have a friend in Maine, and I've got a dear friend who grew up in Machias, which is middle of nowhere.com. Yeah. And he always says, you got to come down. And I'm like, when you geographically invite me appropriately, I will. And I know I keep saying you're on the West Coast, so I will fix that. But yeah, people in Maine tell you to come down. Yeah. And I'm like, you're above me.
And so Machias, we're on the coastal side of Machias in a town called Rogue Bluffs.
Okay.
So
You're right near Machias. I love it.
6 hours from our house. So
Amazing.
yeah, and
Amazing.
it's incredible up there. I love it. I've never fallen so hard in love with a location as much as I have up there and where we currently live. So I get really confused if we spend too much time up there because
Right.
like I absolutely love it there, and then
Yeah.
we come home we're like, oh yeah, this is amazing too. And so it's
Sure.
weird to have two like homes that you're like, oh my god.
Troy must love the fact that you leave your home in the Sunapee area, fly over Dow to go be in his state, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He must really enjoy
Absolutely.
that. You're vacationing in his city or his state, as it were. The coolest trips that you guys have traveled a lot as of late, because you do have a great team holding down the fort. What's the coolest place that you guys have visited as of late?
Okay, well, we did something really amazing, and I feel so fortunate to have done. Was in September, we took my mom for her 70th birthday to Switzerland, and we went to a region that we'd been before. My mom is amazing, and she's like 5'2", going 1,000 miles an hour all the time. So we did some insane hikes with her, and it was awesome. I mean, our first hike was 9.5 miles across the ridgeline down to a lake, and everything hiking over there was just incredible. You take a gondola up, you hike they're primarily traverse hikes, but like they all ended in an amazing restaurant with great food and beer, and then a gondola ride down to public transport back to the hotel.
That's fantastic.
Like it was amazing. That was really cool. I mean, it's just, everyone knows Switzerland's is an incredible country.
Sure.
I would encourage anyone being a little more curious of exploring some things would be the island of Madeira is amazing. It's part of Portugal. But it's got anything with mountains I tend to really like. So, but also with oceans. So
yes,
the elevation of Madeira is like over 6,000 feet. And so in one drive, you can hit like 3 different climates. They have like the desert, the tropical, and the high elevation. So you can go from like 85 degrees to like 60 degrees in a simple drive. That's a cool place. And I mean, we were just in Slovenia the year prior, and Slovenia is like, it's the size of Jersey, but so like in an hour and a half, 2 hours, you can be anywhere in that country, and it's got the Alps, it's got the wine region's amazing. The city of Ljubljana is probably one of my favorite European cities. It's not too big, so it's like, but it's just gorgeous, and the food options are wonderful. This is kind of a little alarmist, but they do risotto probably as good as the Italians. I'm not gonna lie, like it was so good.
A few weeks ago, Rachel Xavier, who is a tennis aficionado, went hard on pickleballers. So that is not the most scandalous thing we've said in the last 30 days. She picked a fight with the pickleball community. Awesome. So I appreciate that. The kid that was out of college selling life insurance, if you look back now to him, like, are you sort of like, pinch me, like this is my life?
Yeah, for sure. Like we've gone through a lot of stuff over the years, and it's really rewarding to look back and say, whoa. And I honestly don't think I'd change a lot. I don't think I would like the regret of like not joining Keller Williams sooner. Yes. Like, could it have fast tracked certain things? Cool. Would I have been mentally ready in the right place professionally to excel the way we have? Maybe not. Right. Or maybe it would have pulled me up. But I look at things that happen in life help build you to what you are today, and recognizing that versus using it as a crutch and just saying, yeah, that sucked. And how you bounce back is what matters. And so I'm grateful for all the challenges in life and things that have occurred along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
So it wasn't a straight path, for sure.
With all the leadership you've done with the boards throughout the state, and everything you've learned through your whole career and at Keller, what's the thing that you're most excited about for the future of real estate? Like the conversations you're having right now, maybe something that people don't see coming, or just the opportunity that you see in front of you and your team that maybe some other people haven't recognized.
So I do think like there's and it sounds weird saying it in our market center, and I think you guys do an amazing job, but industry wise training and the knowledge depth is shockingly shallow. So I do think there's a huge opportunity for like my team, for example, to really take like our area by storm with the knowledge and competence that they have, and maybe bring a couple more people onto our team to help them have an amazing experience in real estate and help other people grow their real estate wealth and just lives in general to really find a better path. I think that, that part of education, training, and really taking things to a different level, I think is super important. And with the changes in our market with everything, like properties sitting on the market a little bit longer. Not every, like our area, we don't have that much inventory, so we're still not switching anywhere close to a buyer's market.
Yeah.
But things are sitting on the market. Like I think it was 2 weeks ago, 56% of the properties on the MLS in our area had a price reduction, right? So like there's that, right? But I do think that the more that we lean into care, training, curiosity, and listening to people, the higher success, the more positive reviews everyone's going to have.
Yeah.
And I think that it kills me with like our franchise here. I'm like, you guys have tons of training. Like if you ever want to learn anything, it's just getting someone to plug in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the hardest thing. So I do think like market centers in general do an amazing job to support their agents, but the agents don't always plug in. Right.
Yes.
So
click on the email.
yeah.
Click
And
on
then
link.
ask questions,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
like if you don't
100%.
understand or you think something's not relevant, like reach out and ask if it is relevant and if you should attend and why shouldn't you attend or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In case your wife missed it, about 10 minutes in, you said that the coolest thing that happened to you at school was not her. I reminded you that it was. But anyway, so it gets to a point where obviously Christina's going to fold in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of us that are in the industry that have spouses, fiancés, partners at home that aren't, you know, everybody brings work home, right? And you were doing that for years before she joined the team. How do you guys, or are you able to compartmentalize? I know you guys escape and go on your trips, but you know, on just tonight or this weekend, how do you make sure that you can get back to just the two of you as opposed to co-owners of a business?
It is incredibly hard. We go through phases of really like shutting off the work side of things. And other times we just go off the deep end and are super geeking out, excited about what we want to do. And then one of us is like, oh dear God, I just no.
Don't say another word.
No. And being, if you know Christina, she doesn't hold back. So, and she puts up with me. So like, she's pretty clear on like, all right, we're shutting it down. And then sometimes I'll shut it down and I'm just smoked and had like past my capacity of human interactions for the day or conversations. Right. And I just need my brain to go neutral. I think with us working together was pretty fascinating. It was a lot of learning. Like Christina got her license, sold a bunch of houses, got the experience. And then we really realized we needed a lot more definition on who's responsible for what. And it took us a while to learn each other's strengths, weaknesses, and what we should each be responsible for. Which is eye-opening because I thought we were really similar. And then we start working together. I'm like, oh shit, we're not. Like we're pretty different. And we have like all these different ways that we like to do things that are really specific and different working environments that are more comfortable and stuff like that. So that was really interesting. It took us a little while to figure that out. I can say we're probably one of the best directions we've been as a couple working together. And better alignment of like what we want to accomplish and who does what and the growth of our team and stuff like that. So.
I know you have to catch a plane. We're just afternoon. Final question.
Sure.
You run into Dan, who's in his freshman year of real estate, and this would be advice that you would give to anybody, but what advice would you go back? If you could talk to you on day one, what advice would you give yourself?
The easiest advice in the world. Do not buy a freaking single family home. Dummy.
So you just told all of our agents not to buy their first house.
No, they should buy a multifamily. Do not buy a stupid.
From a leverage investment. I thought you were just complaining about the roof again.
No, I was so pissed. So when we bought our first house, we were in this townhouse. This stupid guy was opening his door in the side of my car door every single damn day, driving me out of my mind. This house came on the market in the great location from a commuting perspective, so we bought it. Should not have done that. I should have just dealt with it, found a multifamily, bought the damn multifamily. And I didn't. So that is my regret. And I think every single first-time home buyer should suck it up, become a landlord, at least for a year or so, and let that investment fund your adult purchase, if you will.
Yeah. Well, great advice. And as a business owner too, when we talk about adding talent or operational support to our teams, you'll hear Gary talk about in career visioning, like it's a hire for gain, not out of pain. Yeah. But you had your neighbor slamming his car door into your vehicle. So you're like, I'm buying this house out of pain. I just want to be away from this guy.
Yes.
Does he still live in the old place? Do you know?
I haven't, dear God.
You should go back.
I hope he doesn't.
You should go back and buy the place.
God, it was awful.
Put in a driveway and a fence.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. We jokingly called, I wanted the no pants rule. I could take the dog out. It didn't matter if I was wearing pants. Like that's what I wanted for my backyard. So that was the goal. So we got that. It's great.
The no pants rule. I love that. We're gonna end on that. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna let a pantsless Dan O'Halloran sear into everybody's brain for the weekend. Dan, thanks for hanging out.
No problem.
We appreciate it. I'm not looking at the schedule. I have no idea. We have nobody next Friday.
Okay.
The week after that, I'm guessing. I think we're back on Friday the 13th. Does that sound ominous?
Yeah, it does.
And I believe it is Darlene Caldwell Ellis for episode 13.
Amazing.
For episode 13 on the 13th. It's almost like I planned it. I promise you. I promise you I did.
Darlene's amazing too. So
she is fantastic. We're blessed to have her. We're blessed to have you. Thank you, sir. Thanks for hanging out. Take care.